Hello YouTube, welcome to the DBTGamer show, episode 211. When I was younger, one of my first consoles that my family had was a Sega Mega Drive. And a lot of the Sega Mega Drive games I played were beat-em-ups and platformers. I never really played a Sega RPG until very recently. My first Sega RPG which I've ever played and ever finished is Skies of Arcadia Legends for the GameCube, and also the Sega Dreamcast. And I shall be talking about both these versions of this game in the review that I'm doing today. This is one of my all-time favourite Sega RPGs. My mum bought me this for Christmas two Christmases ago, and I'm very thankful and very happy to have this in my collection, and it's one of my favourite Sega RPGs. Anyway, also, before I start this video, I want to say a special thank you to the people at the Button Mash Facebook group. I've been to a few gaming events in Bradford called Button Mash, and at the time I was having trouble recording footage for Skies of Arcadia Legends for my review. The capture card wasn't operating properly, so I took my laptop over and recorded the footage off their version of Skies of Arcadia and managed to get some of the footage I needed for this review. So thanks Button Mash for helping me put this review together. Without further delay, let's take to the skies and go on an epic pirate adventure.
The story for Skies of Arcadia is great. At the beginning of the game, you start with two sky pirates, Vice and Ika, and you're off on a simple mission with your dad to rescue a young princess called Phinia, and that's your simple first mission of the game. And after that, the game sort of evolves into a more grand sort of story where you'll save kingdoms, you will fight epic battles on the land, the deck of your ship, and also your ship will become a force to be reckoned with as well. Overall, the story is great, and eventually you end up uncovering myths and legends and just exploring this giant world that you've got to explore. I won't say any more because I don't want to spoil it. Overall, the story is great. Next, let's go to the graphics for this game. The graphics for Skies of Arcadia are also great, whether you're playing the GameCube version or the Dreamcast version. At one point, there was going to be a Skies of Arcadia port for the PlayStation 2. The Skies of Arcadia port for the PS2 was cancelled because Sega just wanted to focus on the GameCube port. To be honest, I think this was a big mistake. Porting Skies of Arcadia to the PlayStation 2 was a good idea, and it would have opened the game up to more fans, and also Sega could have made a lot more money out of this game by having multiple ports on popular platforms, not just the GameCube. It's a big shame that the PS2 port was got cancelled. Although it also, there was a Skies of Arcadia 2 planned.
That was easy.
Very little is known about this sequel to Skies of Arcadia. There isn't even any concept work or any trailers on the internet. All I know is the game was cancelled because possible low sales of Skies of Arcadia Legends for the GameCube. Also, at the time, Sega did get a restructuring. I would love to see a Skies of Arcadia sequel. Now, am I saying it can't happen? Of course not.
Let's go!
If you can get the right guys to make it, make it. But some of the guys who made Skies of Arcadia don't even work at Sega anymore these days. I mean, Overworked Studios is not the same it used to be, but I would really like to see one. If Shenmue 3 can happen, this is a possibility.
Now let's go to controls. Controls for Skies of Arcadia, they're good. There was only one time where I had an issue with the controls, and that was piloting the ship. At certain points in the game, you have to navigate through these asteroid fields in the Sky Pirate ship, and it can be sometimes a little bit difficult to find a sweet spot so you can get through the asteroid field. Next, let's go on to the music in this game. The music in this game is amazing. One of my favourite songs in the game is the regular battle song when you're doing land battles. Just great. Most of the time in a lot of RPGs, grinding can be an absolute chore, but one of the ways that Skies of Arcadia makes battles better is the battle music. It's just great. It just keeps you sort of relaxed and just pumped up just to keep fighting. Even though you're doing grinding, it eases the boredom, and that's really, really good. The other thing that's great about the music is at times it provokes emotion, and that's something that's really hard to do in a video game. In this game, I felt joy, happiness, and at times even sadness. There was one scene in the game where I pretty much cried because the cutscene that was playing and the music in the background, it just got to me. And I'm a man, I love video games, and I'm not afraid to admit it that this game at one point did make me cry and make me feel that emotion. So overall, music is fantastic. Next, let's go to voice acting. Voice acting in this game is minimal, and it's a shame because I would have liked to have heard more voice acting either in Japanese or English. Maybe if Sega ever stops making Sonic games and actually tries to make something different or revive a classic, they could make Skies of Arcadia Legends HD for the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One and Nintendo Switch. It would be a great idea, and one of the features they could add would be like a fully voiced game, both in Japanese and English. That would be a really great thing, along with all the bells and whistles of HD remasters that we get these days, like better textures, better cutscenes, and nicely up-to-date graphics, but obviously keep the original sort of anime style. Next, let's go on to gameplay. The gameplay for this game is great. I really enjoyed it. It's one of the best RPGs I've ever played, period. Next, let's go to good stuff. The good stuff about this game is the story. I really enjoyed the story. Gameplay, fantastic. Cutscenes, apart from the lack of voice acting, great. Now let's go to side quests. Throughout the game there are several side quests which you can take on, and I really recommend that you take on as many of these side quests as you can to maximise your enjoyment. Skies of Arcadia is one of those games that you don't want to rush through. A very nice piece of chocolate cake. Eat it slowly and enjoy every single morsel. And the side quests are just added flavour to this chocolate cake. One of the side quests I really enjoyed was the Moonfish side quest. At the beginning of the game, you find this little girl on a boat near one of the towns, and her dad says her little girl is suffering from shyness and anxiety, and also possibly some trauma. Which shyness and anxiety are something that I can relate to because I did have many friends when I was younger, and I was a rather shy sort of person, so I can easily sympathise with this little girl sort of character, and I instantly wanted to help her. So her dad gives you this eyeglass and says in the dungeons and in the towns and throughout the game you'll find these creatures called moonfish. In order to find moonfish, an alarm will set off, and you press the Y button, go into first person mode, and this claw comes out of your arm. You can grab the moonfish and then take it back to the little girl's pet, and the pet eats it. And once the pet eats it, it costs you a fur ball, which gives you either an item that you can use, an item that you can sell, an item that you can equip, and stuff. And it's a really rewarding side quest. There are 24 moonfish in all, and if you manage to collect all of them, you get a really big reward as well at the end. So it's a definitely worthwhile side quest, and I really enjoyed doing it. Another thing that's great about this game, side quest wise, are the optional bosses. At one point in the game, you'll find that it's wanted list, and there are 10 optional bosses for you to fight and more. And some of these bosses are really difficult. Some of them may be regular battles, and some of them may be sky battles. But I really enjoyed fighting the optional bosses. Although Skies of Arcadia is one of those games that you have to kind of do it in order, because if you go too far into the story, you can downright just skip certain optional bosses. This is not really a problem because the optional bosses most times just give you better equipment and you can manage without it, but they are a really fun challenge to experience. One optional boss, which is exclusive to the GameCube version, you fight 3 or 4 times in the actual game. She's actually really, really difficult, and she can easily kill your entire party in one turn. She's also linked with the Moonfish side quest. Depending on how many Moonfish you have and how many optional bosses you've defeated, you can fight this really hard boss up to 4 times the game. And she's very challenging and also very fun to fight, and I really enjoyed fighting her. Next, let's go on to characters. The characters in Skies of Arcadia are also great. I really enjoyed a lot of these characters, and also a lot of them surprised me. The first character you come into contact with is Vice. He's a great sort of leader character. He's your main character sort of guy. Dual wielding anime sword guy. Just a great character. Really enjoyed him, and he has a really interesting story arc where he goes from a boy to eventually the captain of a pirate ship and the leader sort of guy. He's just great. Has a lot of good spells, and he can deal a lot of damage with his special attacks. Next, let's go on to Ika. Ika is a great character. Now, in a lot of RPGs, girl characters or female characters end up being like the mages, and they tend to be not very combat savvy. Skies of Arcadia takes that notion and kicks it in the balls and says no. Ika is a very competent female character who has spells that can destroy every enemy on the field quite easily, just in a blazing inferno. She has a boomerang which can do a lot of damage to enemies. She's all around a great character, and I really enjoyed having her in my party. Most of the time she was my mate, so like, I'm gonna say black mage with a decent attack stat. Just a great character. The next character I found was Dragmire, or Dragchan. Yeah, his name's a little bit difficult to pronounce because Japanese is not my forte, but I am trying my best here. He's a rugged sort of pirate with a white beard and a giant metallic arm on his left-hand side, I believe. This guy's a tank, a physical tank. He's an absolute beast. He has loads of health and lots of attack power, and he also has some really cool spells and abilities where he can charge up more spirit energy to do more attacks. Just a great character. At one point in the story, he does leave your party for a very long while and does not return until the end of the game. But when he returns, you are really thankful to see him, and you're like, you can also use him in the final boss fight. So he's a great character. Next we have Enrique. Enrique is another character I enjoy playing as. He has great spells. He's a sword fighter. One of his best spells is a spell that lets you take half damage this turn. Very, very useful. He was my fourth party member for the final boss because he seemed like the best choice, and I knew how to use him. I'd spent so much time with him. And then we have Finia. Finia, when I first saw her, I was worried because she seemed like the typical white mage sort of character, and I was like, a white mage? Well, I know how this is going to work. Heal, basically no attack stats. Finia is not the white mage that you would think that she is. Yes, she still has lots of healing moves, but she has a different spin on her. She has this little character that goes around, we'll call it a Cupel. It's like a little Pokemon, I suppose, and throughout the game, in the dungeons and towns, if your controller vibrates, that's not an earthquake or the game just adding a dramatic effect to your controller. If you mash the A button and walk around slowly, you will find these little items called charms. And if you feed these charms to the little Pokemon pet that she has, it will get bigger and stronger and grow and change and evolve into these different weapons. And each weapon has different attack stats and different abilities, and once you get better weapons, this little creature can cut through some of the simple enemies and some of the mid-range enemies like hot knife through butter. So Finia and her little companion, as long as you take the time to do some level grinding with her when you first get her, and also get her some good spells and collect these charm things to increase the creature's powers, she can be a very competent character, which really surprised me. She also has some spells which can actually do instant death, which was very surprising. Now, these instant death spells, they don't always work, and the accuracy can be somewhat of a coin flip, but if you want to roll the dice and just go for it, by all means go for it. It may work out for you sometimes. She also has some great healing spells. If you're ever panicking, Finia is your girl to get you out of that mess. Great character. Now on to Gilda. Gilda is one of my favourite characters in the game, but the sad thing is you only get to play as him for like 25% of the game. He's a great character, and he has a very cool sort of aura around him. He's just great. I really enjoyed playing as him. He reminds me a lot of Dante from Devil May Cry, and his dual-wielding gunslinging sort of fighting style. Just a really cool character. I really like playing as him. If you want, you can swap out Enrique and use this guy for the final boss fight, if you so choose. And every other character in the game is also great. Mostly they're just side characters or villains. One part of the game was the crew members that you can collect throughout the game. Once you get the best ship in the game, you have to collect crew members, and these crew members can give you abilities for your ship, and it's just really great. This was an aspect that I really enjoyed about the game, collecting different characters for my ship crew and to have the ability to improve my ship's capabilities in battle. Example, one of the crew members that I found really useful, I'm glad that I got, gives you the ability just to double your turns in ship battles. You can heal party members of your ship's crew, and you can just put like a barrier around it. It's just so great to find these characters and how well they're utilised. So the characters in this RPG are great, I really enjoy them. Whether they were just side characters, villains, or main characters. Next, let's go on to the battles themselves. Battles in Skies Arcadia. It's a very simple sort of battle system, but it also has its own little quirks which make it unique. You select attacks, spells, and defend and defeat enemies just like in any other RPG. But you have a turn bar, and if you charge up turns, you can do better attacks. And if you really want, you can charge up the turn bar to full capacity. As long as all 4 of your party members are still conscious from all that defending, you can do these really powerful super attacks. And that's one of the things I like about this game, is you're rewarded for patience and strategy. Once you build up that meter, it's time to do the smackdown and just use one of your best attacks just to obliterate the enemies and make them wish they never crossed blades with you. As well as using the time bar to cast spells, you also spend magic points just like any other RPG. It's a relatively simple system to understand, and it's great. Next, let's go on to ship battles. The ship battles in this game are great and also really intense. There's a lot of strategic workings in the ship battles. You've still got time bar, you still have to attack the enemy, defend and avoid, cast spells, all that sort of good stuff. But the battles, they feel a little bit more slow paced, and you have to really plan ahead with this square sort of grid which kind of tells you when the enemy is going to attack and going to defend and all that sort of thing. And you use items and you really have to plan ahead. But I really enjoyed the ship battles. They're one of the most epic points in the game. Sometimes you'll be fighting these giant bosses which look absolutely impossible, and you pretty much think you can't beat them, but if you think about the fight in the right way and use a lot of strategy, victory will be yours and you will be victorious. And another thing about the ship battles is at certain points in the battles you'll get the special attack option where you can fire the harpoon cannon or the moonstone cannon. The harpoon cannon is the one you get at the beginning of the game. So quite a powerful cannon that you get for your first ship. It's really useful, but nothing compares to the awesome power of the hyper beam of death that is the moonstone cannon. It literally obliterates almost anything in sight. I mean, I remember when I was in a small ship battle, my giant battleship just flies towards a small ship. This small ship decided to get in my way of going into town and decided to take me on. I'm like, right, if we're gonna do this, let's just see how tough you really are. I waited a few turns, gave it a chance, and then I pressed the button. Moonstone cannon obliterated it. I didn't need to do that, but I was just making a point. So yeah, I really enjoyed the ship battles and the regular battles. Both battle systems are great and very enjoyable. And the other thing I liked about this game was exploring the overworld. Throughout the game, there's this giant overworld. It's just great. My only complaint with the overworld is sometimes it can be a little bit hard to navigate depending on which point of the game you are in, depending on which ship you have and what capabilities you have at the time. But other than that, it's great. Sometimes you also may need a guide to figure out where you need to go in the story next, but other than that, exploring the world is a great experience. The other thing that first game was finding points of interest. Throughout the game, when you're exploring the world in the airship, you will come across these places that you can find. For example, if you press A sometimes on like these little groups of fishes, just catch fish. These fishes can be used for side quests, or you can eat them to restore health. That's just a little extra detail. And also, if you go to this guy, he will help you find the optional bosses, sort of quest sort of shop guy, and you can also buy and sell information to this guy so you can find more discoveries and optional bosses. So just exploring the Skies of Arcadia is also a really great idea, and you will be rewarded for exploring, and it makes grinding and just exploring the world less boring. Your first grip at this game are the dungeons and bosses. I really enjoyed the dungeons and bosses, especially the different sky bosses as well. These the sky bosses were also very epic, and the battles in the regular battle style were also epic at times and just really good. I mean, one of my favourite dungeons was where I had two separate party teams, and each team only had 2 members. There was Ika and Finya, just 2 girls in one part of the dungeon, and then Vice and Glider on the other side of the dungeon. And you had to swap between both parties in order to solve the puzzles in the dungeon and get through it. It reminded me of a dungeon in Final Fantasy VI where you had to do a similar sort of thing. This dungeon in Skies of Arcadia was not as grand and not as big as the one in Final Fantasy VI, but it was very similar, and even though it was small, it accomplished a similar goal in the same way, and I did enjoy it. And the other dungeons are also quite good. There's decent puzzles, there's lots of chests to find, lots of loot, lots of enemies, all that good stuff. The other thing that's really great about the game is the character and ship management system. Throughout the game, you can buy equipment, your weapons, your armour, and your accessories. Pretty standard stuff, and all of them have different sort of abilities, and you can get these from either doing side quests, shops, or just the main story. But one of the things that I really enjoyed was equipping my pirate ship with all different types of cannons and torpedoes and all that sort of good stuff. When you get that big pirate ship, you have to really work it out and think, right, what am I going to need? How many turns is it going to take to charge up? How am I going to put this thing together so it becomes an absolute death machine? So I really enjoyed equipping my party members and making it as strong as I could. And then comes the discovery quest. Throughout the game, while you're flying around, you can find these little discovery points, like you can find a legendary sort of creature, you can find a flying paper airplane, you can find little anemones on rocks, and if you press A next to these points, or you press A whilst just flying around at an invisible island, it'll just pop into view, and you've just found a discovery. And if you find enough of these discoveries, each one of them is worth a certain amount of gold. If you take these discoveries to a person in the game, he will give you gold for finding them, and it's a great way to earn money besides doing battles. The other thing I liked about the game was building Crescent Island. Now, Crescent Island in the game, it's just a base where you can dock your ship, and when you first get there, it just seems like a base. Nothing more, nothing less. But if you get enough gold and give it to your crew members that you collect throughout the game, you can improve the shops there to get unique weapons and items that can help you with the game, and you can also just dress it up so that you have nicer places for your characters to sleep, and just make it even better, customize it to be your own. It's just a really nice base, and it's really great. There is one point in the story where something very sad happens, but I'm not going to spoil it because spoilers, and it's something you need to experience for yourself, that part of the game. Another thing that's great about Skies of Arcadia is the magic system. Throughout the game, you get these 6 magic crystals, and all of them correspond to a different sort of spell type. Green ones are for healing, red ones are for fire magic and buffing sort of spells, blue ones are for water spells and speeding up and sort of spells like haste, yellow is for lightning, purple is for ice spells, the crystal sort of grey silvery colour is for the revival spells, and I really like this meta system because if you equip these crystals to your characters, you can learn multiple spells at once and customise each character to your heart's content. The best thing where I found was to try and get every character in your party to learn the vast majority of every spell, so that every character can get you out of the jam if and when you need them to. Overall, this is a great meta system and I really enjoyed it. One of the features that I can only talk about briefly in the Dreamcast version is Pinter's Quest. I've never owned a VMU, although even if I did, I'm not so sure if I would enjoy trying out these minigames. The thing is really tiny, and it would probably be pretty cramped playing it with my giant man hands. But in the original Skies of Arcadia for the Dreamcast, there was a minigame called Pinter's Quest. And Pinter's Quest, you could fly around a little airship and collect items and gold, and some of the items were incorporated into the new side quests for the GameCube version. But this minigame does look like a nice little distraction. Also, the VMU beeped when you found charms instead of the GameCube controller rumbling. So the VMU integration for this game on the Dreamcast version is quite interesting, even though I haven't had a chance to experience it myself. Absolutely fantastic game, I highly recommend it. Now on to my complaints, and I have very few.
Skies of Arcadia is a great game, and there's very little for me to complain about. I actually had to rack my brains to think of things to complain about. This game is practically perfect. Complaint number 1. This is for both versions, especially the Dreamcast version. The Dreamcast version of Skies of Arcadia has a very high encounter rate, and that's probably Dreamcast version's biggest flaw, just the highest encounter rate. Thankfully, the encounter rate was lessened with the GameCube version, and the GameCube version is a lot less battle heavy and a lot less interruptions. Just the game flows better, thank goodness. Other complaints I have with the game: sometimes navigating the overworld can be a bit of a hassle, knowing how high to fly your ship in order to get over mountains, or just how to get around mountains, or just how to weave in and out through asteroids, or just general, where the fuck do I go? But other than that, game is great. I urge anybody who's a fan of RPGs and also who's a fan of Sega games to give this game a go. It's a great game and it's definitely worth buying and definitely worth playing. It can be a little bit pricey today, which is annoying, but it was worth every penny. I would like to see Sega release a HD remaster of this game on modern day consoles. That would really help when it comes to playing and enjoying this classic. Also, in the review, I talked about Skies of Arcadia 2 and my disappointments that the game never got made and got cancelled. Well, recently I was watching some videos on YouTube and I found a little game called Nostalgia. Now, Nostalgia, it's very, very similar to Skies of Arcadia. It has turn-based combat, turn-based sky battles. Okay, the sky battles work differently, but it's very similar. So I haven't quite finished Nostalgia. I want to get back to playing it, but I'm bogged down with other games right now. I may make a video on Nostalgia in the future, but it will be a little bit difficult to record because recording DS games is a pain in the arse without a capture card. But I am enjoying Nostalgia and it shares a lot of elements with Skies of Arcadia. So this is almost like playing a Skies of Arcadia sequel, or I suppose like a spiritual successor. It's got a very steampunk sort of style, and the game is actually set in the real world. So you get to go to all these different places in like the Victorian times. Anyway, I'll save my thoughts on nostalgia for the actual video I'm going to make in the future. Hopefully if I get around to it. Anyway, let's rate Skies of Arcadia Legends. I am very proud to give Skies of Arcadia Legends a 4 out of 5. It is one of the best RPGs I've ever played on the GameCube, and I really enjoyed it. Please like, comment and subscribe. Also, if you want to suggest any videos, please leave those in the comments too. I may consider suggestions in the future. See you guys next time.